This is George Dionne for KNAC.com, and I'm here with Tom Angelripper, bassist and vocalist of Sodom. If I knew absolutely nothing about Sodom, how would you describe the band's music to me?
I think it's pure heavy metal. Some people call it thrash metal, but when we started in '82, nobody was talking about thrash metal. I think in '82 the second Venom came out, which was called black metal, and we called our music in these times switching metal. But I think it's pure heavy metal.
Absolutely. And you have a 40th anniversary coming up in honor of that landmark occasion. You're releasing 40 Years at War, The Greatest Hell of Sodom on October 28th through Steamhammer SPV. If you want to get into a little bit why you decided to kind of do it's not a best of, it's deep cuts from one song from each album up to today.
I think that, doing a best of album was the first idea, which I remember back in '94, we had an album out called 10 Black Years. That was just a sampler, putting material from existing songs together, But my idea was 2 years ago doing a new Sodom Live album. But during the Corona crisis, we had no chance, we didn't find a proper show for recording all the stuff, So I came up with the idea, choosing one song from each album, and recorded this with the current lineup. And it is something special. I know that fans told me, when they want to listen to the original versions of the songs, But on this 40 years anniversary, it's something to show the people what we did all over the 40 years. And then we start shooting one song from each album.
Was there a song that you visited in the past that was kind of not as easy to relearn because it was a deep cut? You didn't play that often?
Oh, yeah. I think so. When we go back to the first record, In the Sound of Evil, Obsessed By Cruelty, a couple of songs were completely out of timing and out of tuning, So we have to relearn. That's right. We have to cover the songs, but playing the drums and the guitars more accurate, but without losing the spirit and the magic from the song. So we covered 1-to-1. We didn't change the lyrics, or we didn't change the arrangement, because to keep the spirit, to keep the magic of the song, But choosing the songs, we don't want to choose. If you go to Agent Orange, for example, we don't want to cover Agent Orange itself, the hit single from that album, So we were looking for some rarities, some songs are underrated or never played live, never played in a rehearsal room, That was really funny, because we listened to the complete albums, and we have so many albums out, This is good for us, it's going to be also very good for the next set list, because we want to put some songs of these ones into the next set list, and we want to change the set list from show to show,
One of the songs you've released ahead of the album is After the Deluge, which obviously was released before, but you dedicated this one to the man that wrote it. He recently passed away. It was Christopher, if I'm pronouncing that correct. If you kind of want to talk about your relationship with him.
He was a good friend of mine, He was a kind of spare guitarist when we recorded Obsessed By Cruelty album, We have to know we recorded this album twice. Mm-hmm. But that is a different story, We chose originally the song Equinox from Obsessed By Cruelty, and then Uwe Christophers died, We want to give him a tribute, so we take After the Deluge for the sampler,
The 40 Years at War, Greatest Hell of Sodom has a box set edition, which comes with a 72-page book with kind of like fan comments and stuff like that, sort of making it a little more fan friendly, but also making it something premium for like the super fans, right?
Oh yes. That was my idea. First we showed all the original album artworks in this book, because the original artworks look different than in the end when it's pressed on vinyl as an artwork cover, I have a lot of scans from this. I have a couple of original artworks at home. I got high resolution scans from the original artist, and then I came up with the idea, what is about the fans, they have something to tell, you know, after 40 years, you know. You have to know we get hundreds of the statements, you know, and we put a couple of them in the book because we have a limited pages in this book, you know. But I want to put all these statements on a Facebook, on a homepage, whatever, you know. And that was so fantastic, you know, that people told some stories, some experiences. There was one guy who told the story when he listened to Agent Orange for the first time. You know, he met his first girlfriend, and all the time when he listened to Agent Orange album, you know, all the remembrance coming back. You know, there are very emotional stories behind. You know, and that is very interesting. You know, that because the fans are important to me. I want to give them a stage. I want to give them some tribute. You know, I want to give them the chance to write down their stories. You know.
You also have a bonus CD on this box set that contains more music, including a new song called 1982, which you wrote to kind of chronicle the band from their very beginnings.
It's about when the band started, when we formed us in 1982, you know, and I want just tell the story about what happened, you know, when we started the band, you know. That were completely different times. The metal scene was smaller, you know. The metal scene was really something special, you know. We want to shock the people with our music, you know. That was a kind of a revolution. We were against our parents. We were against our teachers, establishment, politics, and all this stuff, you know. And that's why we formed the band, you know. We also were inspired by the first Venom record, Welcome to Hell, you know, which was a big inspiration to me and the complete band, you know. Try to describe it in a lyrical way, you know. I asked my guitarist to write the song because I need an old school 80s guitar riff for the song, you know. Yes, that's a bonus EP in a box set, you know, but it's just on a CD, you know, because we get some problems with vinyls. That is the song we put also to the set list for the upcoming shows, you know.
And of course, the new album's coming out in multiple formats, including that box set, digital, CD, cassette, vinyl, and it's got impressive artwork. And you mentioned the artwork in the book and everything. Are you pretty hands-on when it comes to how the album looks and the layout of the artwork and whatnot?
Yes, I work together with our graphic man, you know, who did a great job, you know. We also were looking for an artist for the front cover artwork, you know. And I'm always in contact with Eliran Kantor. It's a friend of mine. He also did the cover for the War and Pieces album. Yes, but the time was running, you know. I get a lot of pressure from a record company, so we need a cover artwork now, next week or in 2 weeks, you know. And Eliran start working, you know, and he puts the man on In the Sound of Evil, the X-Men, and putting the Knarrenheinz, putting together in one cover, you know. I love this album, you know, but the complete artwork, the complete design from the book and from the album, the inner sleeves and all this stuff is great, you know. That is very important. We have a lot of stuff. We have also a tape into the box because I think there is more and more a collector scene who want to have tapes, you know. I don't know why, but people like it, you know. We have also a signed autograph card, you know. I remember a couple of months ago, we got 4,000 autograph cards to sign by hand, you know. I think Sodom is the only band who did this, you know, who signed cards, you know, so many, you know. But we do everything for our fans, you know.
Recently, Frank Blackfire returned to the group, obviously appears on this album. What you guys reunited for the 35th anniversary for a live show performance. What kind of brought Frank back to be a full-time member of Sodom?
I always looking for a second guitarist, even when Bernemann was played in the band, you know. But Bernemann never accepted a second X-Man by his side, you know. We had a show in Zeche Bochum for the 35 years anniversary, and we put all the ex-members on stage, you know. And Frank came up on stage, you know, with the second guitarist. We played a couple of songs, you know, and the sound was great, you know. Also, my engineer who do all the live mixing, you know, he thought with the second guitarist, it's more powerful, you know. You have more the stereo effect, you know. You have a bigger wall of sound, you know. When Bernemann left the band, you know, I kicked him out, you know, but the door was open to try the next projects with a second guitarist, you know. And I got York, which is a very young guitarist for the band, and asked also Frank Blackfire. And Frank said, "Oh yes, I want to do. I have an own project which is called Blackfire, but we are not touring around. I didn't spend a lot of time with them. So I have enough time for working with Sodom again. And it's great. He's a very cool guy. And it's fantastic because Frank never changed. When never changed the guitar sound, or when he start writing songs, arrangements, it's the same like on Agent Orange, which I really prefer, which I want to have old school songs, but with the spirit of the 80s, and that is exactly what Frank do. And York, the second guitarist, who is a big metal fan, who he likes crust punk music, death metal, black metal, and all the stuff, and there is a lot of other influences when he start writing songs, but never mind, we can do what we want, I just want to have a good song. It doesn't matter if it's by Frank or York, or it's a black metal song or a traditional heavy metal song, whatever, we want to do what we can do what we want,
Do you have some 40th anniversary live shows lined up already?
No, because it's gone, the time was running, we have a couple of shows in the end of December. Yeah, we're looking for just regular Sodom shows, but we want to play over 2 hours. I think every Sodom headlining show is about 2 hours. And we are the only thrash band who play a long set list like this. And we want to tell the people we are here for 40 years. But we keep looking forward. And that is important to me. For me, 40 years playing in a band is just a number. It's nothing special. I'm looking forward to the next project. We want to start writing a new album, and we also plan some touring, also US America touring, because a lot of people ask me about that,
Am I correct in the fact that you've only toured North America 1 or 2 times?
Yes, that's true. And so, we played 3 weeks ago, we played the Mexico Metal Fest, and there was a lot of people from US America I was talking with, And they asked me, "Do you hate US America? You never come to US America?" I said, "Why? It's not true, we want to go, we just need the paper sheets, when we go to the embassy, and we need to working, I don't know what's the real name for it, the working license, the papers,
The visas,
and
the work visas.
visas, yeah, because we work there, And there are some promoters who ask me that we go over as tourists. That is, I think, in my opinion, it's impossible, So when we have the interview at the border, people, what you gonna do here? What's your job? Oh, you are playing at Sodom. What you gonna do here? No, that is no way. The promoter, we need a serious promoter who pay the price, and we go, And I can give the guarantee that when we do a couple of shows in America, they will be sold out. As American fans, they told me, Creators touring all the time, Destruction is touring, but we want to see Sodom after all the years, Yes, that is what we are planning next year, If we find a serious promoter, who gonna help us over, and we go. That is not a problem. And the next one is I have a guy, he's living in Las Vegas, and he told me there is a Las Vegas Psycho Metal Fest, something like this,
Yeah.
And there are different metal bands playing, and now we try to get in contact to this guy, that we're gonna do maybe a bigger show, or headlining show, whatever, in Las Vegas, and putting some shows around, So that will be a good start, coming back to US America.
You guys played a couple of summer festivals this year. Was that kind of your return to the stage after the lockdowns?
Oh yeah, that was great. We had a lockdown for 2 years. We canceled all the shows in 2020, 21, and we postponed the shows to next year. And some promoters canceled, and some promoters resigned. So that was great to come back. We played a lot of shows outside Germany. Because there was nobody was talking about Corona anymore. But in Germany, it's completely different. Now the politics talking about the Corona and wearing the mask in a metal shows, whatever, I don't know. But coming back, that is my job. It's not just the money, but it's my profession going up on stage, and doing my show, And I hope that all the Corona thing is gone, So we want to plan, But if you are in a situation with Corona, you cannot plan. You have to book the nightliner, the buses, you have to book the crew, and you have to prepay for everything, and then you can go on tour, So you're going to lose a lot of money, and you lose also a lot of fans, because they are disappointed that band is not playing,
All right, let's hit the time machine a little bit to 1986, where you released Sodom's first studio album. You mentioned it briefly at the beginning of this interview that there was 2 different versions of Obsessed by Cruelty. What was kind of the reasoning behind that?
We recorded the first version in Berlin. We had a producer called Horst Müller. This guy also produced Running Wild, Celtic Frost, Halloween, or a couple of other bands, But he hated our music, So he just engineered the songs, And then after the mixing and the sound quality was really bad, And the record company asked us to make a remix, but Horst don't want it, Said, I don't want to have the band in studio anymore. I know why, because we were drunk all the time, We had a big party every day, We were in Berlin, We went out every evening and have some drinks and all the stuff, So he don't want to do a remix. So we came up with the idea to record the album in a second studio in Bavarian, which was a good friend of Manfred Schütz from SBV, So we recorded this twice, But I remember that we have 2 different master tapes in these times, And when this album Obsessed by Cruelty came out in US America, they sent the wrong master tape. So they sent the first version to US America. So they pressed it. So we have 2 different out there, And I think 2 or 3 years ago, the US company Wax Maniacs, they re-released it with both versions in one set, But it's my idea too, It's don't come out in Europe,
Yeah.
And you have to realize that's a complete Sodom back catalog, went from SPV to BMG. And now we start doing re-releases of the albums. We also did M16 last year, which was great. We also talk about Obsessed by Cruelty box set with both versions in it and some live material, some photo books, whatever, We talk about Tapping the Vein. We talk about Persecution Mania, I'm not a big fan of re-releases, but if you put so much material in it, you spend so much time, you spend so much love in it to get a booklet and to get some live recordings, Nowadays we are planning for the Tapping the Vein re-release, and the guitarist Andy Brinks have a lot of material from these times, We have the last show with Chris Witch Hunter, We have some material from Japan, We have some multi-track tapes from Tapping the Vein, so we could do a remix of this album, We have so many ideas, Yeah, but Obsessed by Cruelty is a big story behind, The most people don't know why we have 2 different versions, It's not just a remix, it's just a completely new recording. So we changed a couple of things, I think this album is the only one worldwide who was recorded twice,
Well, you say you're not a big fan of album re-releases, but I mean, I think you got a perfect opportunity with the resurgence of vinyl to kind of revisit your back catalog and do some really cool things with vinyl, sort of like you've done with the 40 Years at War.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of re-release, what you said before, but if you but there are some re-releases, sometimes it seems that record companies want to just make money with it, And when I remember to M16 or Code Red, they never been released original as on vinyl, because in these times, record companies thought that vinyl is dead, people just want to buy CDs, So I'm so glad, and also glad that we have the 40 years on vinyl, because vinyl is coming back. And I'm a big vinyl fan too, I want to have hold something in my hands, I also listen to music at Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, whatever, But sometimes I need to have the vinyl and put it on my record player, hold the cover in my hands, read the lyrics, from other bands, That's like sitting at a time machine, going back to the 80s,
When can fans expect the next studio album by Sodom?
Oh yeah, I think we start writing a couple of songs, and I can tell you the new songs are brilliant. I think the next Sodom album will be the heaviest we ever recorded. We have 3 or 4 songs pre-produced. We do always a kind of production in our rehearsal room. And what my dream is to record all the songs in a professional studio with a big mixing desk with all the hardware, all the equipment in it, And I also talked to our ex-producer Harris Jones, and he's really interested in doing the next Sodom album again, which will be great, So when we get an option from a record company, and everything went fine, we gonna release it end of next year, But we never know, If we have more shows and a lot of touring, we never find time for writing proper songs, That was the only positive during the Corona. We had a lot of time spending with the band in rehearsal rooms, and writing songs, I wanna write the songs without any pressure from outside, There is no dictation from outside, When we have the songs finished, we start booking a studio for recording it, It could be end of next year or beginning of 24,
Those are all the questions I have for you today, Tom. I want to thank you for speaking to KNAC.com, and the new album is 40 Years at War, The Greatest Hell of Sodom.
Oh, yes.
It's out October 28th through Steamhammer SPV.
Yes, hope to see you soon in America.
You certainly built up the excitement over not being here for so long that when you do finally make it here, people are going to go nuts.
Yes, I think a lot of people are disappointed. Maybe we also lose a lot of Sodom fans because we never played there, But that is not our issue, That is not my fault, I want to go, And if there is a serious promoter out there, we go.